Welcome to Gus Does This. So, if you've seen a few of my older videos, you've seen me do a little bit of restoration to a couple of diecast cars. They were very mild restorations. I've done quite a few cars, but I haven't really done a car from beginning to end on video. So I thought I would take this opportunity. I just got one in the mail, and I won an eBay auction. I had to go look, but like 20 bucks for a 1968 Custom Barracuda. Anyway, it's in pretty rough shape, so there's going to be quite a bit of work to be done. So I want to document all that, starting with opening the package right now and seeing what we got. So let me aim you down here and see what we got. Now, nicer cars, a lot of guys will put them in boxes, but when they're inexpensive and pretty beat up, guys will put them in the bubble wrap and ship them on their way. Not too bad. Alright, so there we go. It's got 4 wheels. That's good. It's got uncracked glass, that's a bonus. Has no hood. Quite a bit of paint missing. The bottom isn't overly oxidized, but it's got a little oxidation. It's definitely Hong Kong. It says Hong Kong right there, and you can usually tell because of the holes for the bearings. And anyway, condition wise, I don't think any kids ever stood on top of. That's usually one of the things, is a lot of times you'll see one of these will be bent or cockeyed. Yeah, this has got a slight indent to it. We might try and straighten that out just a hair, because you know, kids, they're rolling around getting rough. Every once in a while they'll step on one, and you know, that's a weak point right there and there. A lot of times that'll crack the windshields too, though, but that is a pretty good windshield. And that rear glass is so big on a Barracuda. It's amazing how well that looks. There's quite a bit of discoloration here on the roof. There's like a dark green, like maybe somebody had some tape on it or something, or put some numbers on it or something and then took it off later. There's also some discoloration here. Looks like oxidation there. Anyway, this is going to be a fun little car. It's got the small tires in the front, medium tires in the back. It gives it a nice, mean, forward-looking stance. Oh wait, now that I put it sideways, there's a hairline crack right down the middle of the back glass. That's a bummer. I'll buff it and see what it looks like, but I'll probably end up buying a new one. I gotta buy a new hood anyway. And yeah, all the paint's come off the tail. Front looks good. Lost some of its Hong Kong wheel pizzazz, but we got new wheels for that. Looks like it's got a brown interior. Looks to be complete and clean. Sometimes you'll get cars and they'll be so dirty because, you know, some kid left them in the mud, left them in the dirt, and drug them and washed them out, and over again. You know, I see another hairline crack right in the middle of that windshield too. Yep, we're definitely getting a new windshield. So anyway, here, I put my glasses on. So right here it says Custom Barracuda 1967. That's the copyright. These came out in 1968. I believe the Custom Barracuda was probably made for 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So every year this same car was coming out. They were made both in the US and Hong Kong, and there are differences. The Hong Kong cars have these 4 holes and have a lot more intricate markings on the bottom. US cars are fairly plain, and they won't have those holes showing the axles, the spring axles that are in there. And then sometimes there'll be slight variation differences on the fronts and the rears depending on which car it is. The other big difference, there's another big difference on Hong Kong versus US cars. Hong Kong tended to almost always have blue glass, this blue tinted glass. I don't know if you can see that or not. And the US either has a white or a clear or a slight smoked glass. And the other thing is Hong Kong interiors for most cars tend to have a separate steering wheel that gets stuck into the interior, whereas the US ones, the steering wheel is molded into the dash and is part of the interior. It doesn't actually get stuck in there separate. The other big difference is the wheels. They're the same wheels, I believe. It's just Hong Kong uses a metallic flake, brighter chrome looking paint on the inside than the US. The US's are very dull looking, and the Hong Kong ones, when they were new, are extremely bright and brilliant. You can kind of see some of the brightness on that one wheel right there. Those are the big differences. So anyway, here is the car. I will start working on it, and I'll keep you up to date. A little gunk right there. I don't know if they have, that's like glue or something. That's anyway, we'll take it apart, we'll strip off all the paint, we'll put a new hood in it. Looks like the latches are pretty good for the hood. So I don't know why the hood got ripped off. Must have broke the pegs on either side. You know, kids, and when I was a kid, I didn't care about keeping my Hot Wheels. I was just running around having fun with them. Alright, we'll get at it and keep you up to date. Until next time, later. Motherfucker, man. That's great. Alright, so let's see what we got here. There it comes off. So that one came off really nice and easy. This one I had to wallow out just a little bit. Maybe I can clean some of that up. Maybe not. Interesting. Anyway, so those holes you were seeing, and I was talking about, these are the axles. You can see in here, got a really weird configuration on these axles. They come in, they do a little twist, they go under this bar here to hold it down, it goes across, it's down and over. It's one wire. It's got some spring to it, and you can see, you know, it's a pretty tough wire. I mean, that's a 50-year-old wire, and it's still doing its job. So you can see though, when they were new, these white pieces here were attached to those wheels, and they were fairly stiff. But now what happens is, as that's rolled a million times and it's been bent back and forth over the years, that piece of wire right there is a little thinner than it used to be. So now this wheel has play in it. You see that? All of them are that way. They've all got a little bit of play in them. But there's really not a lot you can do with that. Alright, so inside he's got our interior, and there you can see the back, and you can see it's got that I was telling you, it has a different steering wheel. This separate part of it, you can see it pokes right through the dash. The Hong Kong ones, some of them don't have a dashboard. The US ones tend to have dashboards, but the wheel's not separate, it doesn't spin, doesn't move around, it's just molded into that dashboard. This has got goop all around it. I don't know what's happened here. Somebody maybe tried to clean it, or anyway, I'll have to wash that really good. It's kind of sticky too. Yep, and there's more goop here. I wonder if this glass was loose or something, and they didn't want it to fall out, so they put a little something in there to hold it in. I don't know. So there's your glass. That's another thing, is every car is a little different in how the glass goes in. This one goes, that hole lines up with this dot to center it up and get it right on there where it's supposed to go. Some of them have little dots on the glass, and they kind of line up with different little holes on the interior sometimes. They're all a little different. Anyway, we got it apart, and you can see that when it was at the factory, when it's going through the machines and getting sprayed with the paint, there's overspray comes around, and so here you might think, oh, that was green or that was blue. But you go in here and you can see the original color, and that looks to be aqua green to me. Let me see. I got another one that's aqua. That's a new aqua color that I need to redo. So I think that's what it was. It's definitely not blue, because that's blue. It's definitely not green, because that's green. So, yep. Aqua Barracuda. It's interesting. Some red paint on the battery here. I've never seen that on the interior of a hood car. Alright. So the last thing I'm going to do right now going to drill out my posts so that I can put this thing back together again someday. So here's why I drilled that hole a little deeper earlier, because I wanted a reference to make sure I can go right down the middle here and get this thing drilled. That's pretty deep. It's a good one. And yeah, this one we've got to be a little more careful with. It is a little skinnier, and it pokes up through the hood. The last thing you want to do is poke a hole right through the motor, the engine. And this one's already fallen apart. It's too close to this edge over here, and it's already poked through. So I'm going to need to try and go at an angle up this way to Welcome back. We had a battery die on us. I got both posts drilled out. This one's kind of blown out on one side. This one's really good. I'm going to pull out my tap. I think that's what this is called. And try and put some grooves in it. If you meet too much resistance, come on back, start over, clean it off. These things tend to clog up pretty quick and easy with the material that you're digging through. You don't want to strip it out. Alright, that one seems pretty good. We'll have to see here in a minute. How about this one? Alright, got a lot of metal shavings floating around. Let me grab some screws. I like to get these in there before I start stripping paint and repainting, just so I'm not getting material down in these holes. Alright, we got some pretty good bite right there. Now if you tear out too much like I did on this one, we may have to put a little JB weld on this one. No, I think we got enough room to get 2 or 3 turns on this thing. Here we go. We now have our screws in there. Tell you what, let's I'm just going to go take a toothbrush and a little soap to the sink and clean that up. Hold on. Get up. Alright, so there we go. It's not dry, but anyway, it's clean. Be careful when you start toothbrushing in there and moving things around, you don't rip out the steering wheel. But yeah, that's a kind of a marbled brown. No, I guess it's brown. Bronze-ish color. Alright, now shall we strip some paint? Let's do that. I'll start that, and then so this is what I'm using. I got it at the big box store. It works really good on these older cars with the this is called Spectraflame paint. It works really quick, really easy. Doesn't work so great on the enamel, but it works okay. Better than some things. I went ahead and put a glove on. So I'm going to spray down the inside first, and then I'm going to turn it over. Alright, we're going to let that sit about 10 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you how to take the tires off. Yeah, I see some guys cut them off. Some guys, anyway, this is a tool you can get at the Redline shop, tire tool. And this works really good for putting your tires on. You hook it back in here and now you can press up against it. And this works pretty good for taking them off. You just need to get it up and in here and pry it, not hitting that white bearing axle, and you just start pushing on one side or the other and it'll pop them tires right off. Now I've heard people say sometimes the bearing will come off. I've never had one. I haven't done that many of these, but I've done a few and never had a bearing fall off on me. I've bought cars that had broken axles and had to replace them, but and that's no fun, let me tell you that. Alright, so let's see if I can pry these off. Yeah, these are coming off real easy. There we go. And the other thing is, figure out if they're fairly straight. See, like this one's a little cockeyed, and you can lock this thing in there and then kind of start bending on it, straighten them out. Sometimes they're bent down or bent up depending on how kids were playing with them over the years. A lot of times they're bent down, need to be bent up just a hair. I don't know, these look pretty good. Alright, now I want to go get some of this oxidation off here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go dip this in Lime Out or Lime Away, yeah, Lime Out it's called, for about 5 seconds, and that'll eat into that oxidation and I can brush it off and then clean it. Let me just take you over there and show you. Here's my, what did I call it? Yeah, Lime Out. Pretty strong stuff, so don't leave your base in there for more than a handful of seconds. And you'll see it just immediately start foaming up. Alright, that's probably long enough. Otherwise we start eating into our finish. Yep, that looks good. Alright, make sure you get all that Lime Out off there, or it will just eat up your metal. I'm not sure, but it's probably like hydrochloric acid or something. Pretty acidic. So we got, it's a little better. Well, we got a little bit of the oxidation off. I don't know if I can see this. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that. So anyway, you can still see there's a few dark spots there. But it's better than it was. And we freed up all the grime. Got all that off there. Alright. So the thing to do now is polish that. There it is. Alright, here we go. So I got a brass brush. Soft brass brush. And just doing this. I'll tell you what. I want to put some polish on this. So what I'm going to do, see how you get a little bit of black off there? Wait till I put some polish on here. You'll see a ton of black stuff coming off there. Alright, you got a Dremel. And I've got, right here is a, this is called Flitz, F-I-L-T-Z. I'm sure there's other things you could use. I've seen people use something like that. But I use this on the paint after I'm done. This is what I use on my, alright, I'm going to rub this polish all over here a little bit so it doesn't go flinging all over me when I turn this thing on. Because that's always fun. Alright, let's start polishing a little bit. Put it on the lowest setting. Close that up before I spill it everywhere. Alright, paper towel. Get up all that excess polishing material there. Pull that brass brush out again. Clean all that out of the crevices and the cracks. Just a clean toothbrush, make sure you got everything off there. Maybe put this on top. See if you get any dirt off of it. Polish off of it. Usually get a little bit here and there. Alright. So now we have a very bright and very shiny base. Almost as good as the day it was made. I think there's one little doohickey right up in there. Other than that, it looks really, really good. This one's got a nice little gas tank on it. So look at that. It's even got front suspension. I don't know that I've noticed front suspension on one of these before. Maybe I'm just not paying attention close enough. Yeah, I don't know what that booger is, but it doesn't want to come up, so I'm going to leave it. Well, that was quick and easy. I'm pretty sure I'll go double check, but I'm pretty sure the long tail light on a Barracuda back in the day, back when it was original, was red. And if it is, I'll put it back on there red. The dash, the grill, the flat black that's in the grill looks pretty good, so I don't think I'm going to paint that, add any more to it. It looks fine. I'm going to call that done, except for probably that tail light. Put some new tires on it, and we're halfway there. Let's put some tires on. Alright, so there you can see them Hong Kong tires I was talking about. Look how bright and shiny that is. I mean, that's just crazy brilliant. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're just going to slide those on just a little bit. And slide that one on just a little bit. Oh, that's the old one. Careful. Alright, here's the new one. Slide that one on a little bit. Now we're going to hook this little booger on the wheel, and now we can pull with that and push the tire, and you'll see it inch right up. There it goes. Now we can do the same thing on the other side, and it goes all the way on, and now you're perfect. Alright, pretty sure those are mediums. Let's pull a couple mediums out, make sure. Yeah, they're a little wider. That might give it a pretty cool stance. Yeah, there's another one. Ease that on there. And finish it up. There. There. And there we go. A rolling Hot Wheel base. Alright. I am going to throw those in there. Where do you have the little... There it is. Throw those in there. Alright, let's check on our paint. Stripping. Oh yeah, look at that. Just, you know, it's been about 10 minutes and it just melts right off. Pretty cool. Alright, well I'm going to take this over to the sink and rinse it off. Back in a sec.